Welcome to Forte Catholic Radio. This is your host, Taylor Schroll. I am back. I spent last week in Oklahoma City. I have a lot to share about last week. It was kind of a crazy week. But before we do that, I just want to welcome you in. It's a great week. We're here in our first week of February. February. Is it February or February?
First one.
The first one? How's it spelled? I really don't know. How is February spelled? Is it? I gotta look it up. February.
Spell it.
February.
You already beat me to it.
It's definitely spelled February, but we all say February. Anyway, welcome into Forte Catholic. We are recording in the Red Sea Radio Intergalactic Studios. This goes all the way to Jupiter. Okay, so we have a great show planned for you today. One thing I want to start with, I want to tell you a little bit about my time at the Austin DCYC, the Diocesan Youth Conference. It was a blast. 3,000 kids from across the diocese gathered for some great speakers. Matt Martinusen, who's been a guest on the show, was one of the keynote speakers. Dave Moore, who's been a guest on the show, did the music. Good old friend of the show, Dave Moore. I got to go hang out on Saturday. I got to do 2 of the breakout sessions. I was talking about, Catholic guilt must die. If you've listened to the show for more than, a few months, you've heard me talk about that and how much I despise Catholic guilt. If you haven't heard me talk about it, well, go download more podcasts on fortecatholic.com. Hooray. The 2 things I wanted to share with you guys, though, from DCYC is that, number one, I had an absolute blast, and it went a lot better than I thought it was going to. It was one of those things that there was all these big name speakers, right? And I was like, oh, nobody's going to come to my sessions. And both sessions were completely full. They had to kick people out. It very, very much helped my pride. I mean, I really enjoyed the day. Really enjoyed the day. The first session, though, I got new material. I got new jokes. It was one of those things that, every time I go speak, I do have planned jokes, right? About half of my jokes are planned. The other, there's another 30 to 40% that it's just me playing off the crowd. And then every now and then the crowd will have one good joke. DCYC, especially that first group, man, they were 50% of the jokes. It was just all this interaction of people throwing things out, and we were just dying laughing the whole time. Here's the one that I need to share with you. I was talking about, how there's that quote from Pope Francis that many Christians' lives seem like Lent without Easter, right? That's kind of this premise of Catholic guilt, woe is me, not participating in the victory that Christ won for us on Easter, right? So I'm talking about how Good Friday wasn't called good that Friday, right? It was a sad Friday. It was a bad Friday. Nobody enjoyed watching this man that they followed die, right? So they called it Sad Day, not good, or Sad Friday, not Good Friday. And somebody from the back of the room said, the next day was Saturday. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, man, this is phenomenal. The second new joke that I got this weekend was on the same day Saturday Night Live aired. I love Saturday Night Live. What was it, Weekend Update? I don't watch the whole show. I just watch Weekend Update every week. And one of the things on Weekend Update this week was talking about Jesus after the resurrection. How we all know how he actually was, but it's if I was Jesus after the resurrection, he would probably say something, he'd appear to the people who killed him and go, you crossed the wrong guy. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. And the guy who's Colin Jost, who's the host on the show, waited for everybody to start laughing like Sam McKenzie just did and goes, nailed it. I just thought it was so funny because I've always thought about that, how, God's ways are so far above my ways. I would have done a couple of things differently if I was Jesus. I would have been on the cross, and then they're like, why can't you get yourself down? I would have apparated Nightcrawler in X-Men, and I would have appeared right in front of them and then appeared right back on the cross. It's I'm here because I want to be, right? And I totally would have been that guy, terrible God puns. Dad puns to the max, father of the universe puns, right? Speaking of new jokes, if you listened last week, there's a new joke on the show. there's a new character on the show. His name is Rocco. I believe it's Cuccozzilio. And he's on what he came on for last week he's an Eagles fan, right? So he was talking about preparing for the Super Bowl. And I told Rocco, it's like, man, I'd love to have you back on after the Super Bowl is over to talk about his feelings about post Super Bowl. So Rocco, welcome back, brother.
Hey, how you doing, Taylor?
Hey, man, it is another day in paradise. How are you doing after your Eagles won the Super Bowl?
Hey, fly Eagles, fly, baby!
fly Eagles, fly, huh? So you're
G-L-E-S. Yeah. Now, hey, you might be kind of hard to hear me. I'm on a Greyhound. I'm on a Greyhound back to the station. I was in Philly. I was in Philly for the game.
Yeah, you were in Philly. Where do you live, Rocco?
Well, I live here in the station, in the station here in Texas, and
the station. I thought you meant the Greyhound station. I think you mean College Station.
Yeah, College Station. Yeah, and I went back to see my family. So I was down on Fifth and Wawa Sunday night celebrating. Maybe you saw me. It was great.
I think I did see you. They greased up all the poles so that people couldn't climb up them, but I think I recognized you on the news. Did you get to the top of one of those light poles?
No, I don't know. That's overrated. There's a couple of knuckleheads out there that do that kind of stuff. Most of the people, very peaceful, law-abiding citizens. Burn a few things here, tip over a few things there. Abscond with some police horses. No biggie, nothing big, nothing major.
I think he was like, I'm not going to commit any crimes. Then he listed off a few felonies and a couple of misdemeanors. So,
hey, did you watch the game, brother?
I did watch the game. And speaking of overrated, what are your thoughts on Tom Brady after he lost the Super Bowl?
Hey, Tom Brady. Sometimes the program on those cyborgs, they don't update them. They don't patch them, right? And he wasn't in top working order, I guess, on Sunday.
Yeah, he was not. So Rocco, last week
when he threw a lot, it was like there was like more freaking offense than in any other Super Bowl.
I know. You're right. They broke the record over 1,100 yards with the two teams combined. The most ever, not in a Super Bowl, not in a playoff game, but in any NFL game ever. So, do you have any siblings on the defense?
I want to get. I know this is a family show. It's a Catholic show. So I'm supposed to be the comic relief like that, but those Eagles. I mean, those are some good Christian boys on that team. There's a lot of love for the Lord on that team.
Yeah, there really was. Like, as the coach was being handed the Lombardi Trophy, he gave it all to God. And like most athletes are like, "Oh yeah, give it all to God," but they don't mean it. Like these guys, you could actually tell, like they were truly giving it to God. And their quarterbacks, both of their quarterbacks are big Christian men. They've got a Christian community there on the team.
Did you see that they? Did you see him pray? Did you see the video of them praying to Our Father after in the locker room?
I did. I'm surprised you know this, because last week when you came on, you told us that you were Catholic, but that you only attend church on Christmas and Easter. So my question for you is, do guys like this inspire you?
I was pulling your leg.
You were pulling my leg? So you go, what, 4 times a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit more often than that.
A little bit more often. So a little close to not completely in mortal sin. I'm glad to hear that. Do people like your Eagles inspire you in your faith?
Hey,
what?
Brother.
What?
Honestly,
why are you yelling at me?
Honestly, you made being Catholic fun for me again. So I've been trying to clean up my act. Since I've been around you.
Well, good. This is the first. You heard it here first, guys. We are 69 episodes in, and I have finally helped someone. So, Rocco, what's your last name?
Rocco Cuccozzilio.
Cuccozzilio, right. So I think you said two different names last week on the air, so I just wanted to make sure that we got it right. So apparently you lied to me on the radio last week, and you told me that you only win a cup like twice a year, but we found out today that you go a little bit more. So I want to kind of gauge like what this weekend looked like for you. Were you praying a lot for the Eagles to win? Like, did you put a lot of stock in God in this victory?
Yeah. Hey, obviously I wanted my Eagles to win, and we're supposed to ask the good Lord for what we want. So yeah, I mean, I said said a few prayers here and there, but at the same time, it's not the most important thing to be praying for, right? So I didn't go too overboard.
So you didn't do like some people. I know they make promises. They're like, God, if you make Tom Brady drop this last pass, or his last pass is dropped, then I'll go to church every Sunday. Did you make any promises like that this weekend?
No, I didn't make no promises like that. I thought maybe I'll try to observe have a good Lent. Maybe I thought that's what I could do. Maybe have a good Lent.
Rocco, it's like you're reading my notes. That was my next question. So what are you going to be doing for Lent? I want to know what somebody who's just, on this fly Eagles fly on the top of the world, we're about to move into this penitent season. So what kind of things do you think you'll be doing for Lent?
Well, I think I'm going to start off by, I think I'm going to stop making fun of Patriots fans.
That's your first mistake. You lied.
That was just a little joke. Just a little joke there. I'm kind of a big connoisseur of espresso coffee. I might think about giving up coffee for Lent. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, that's great. I hope it does great things for your teeth. So throughout the game, it was an amazing game, just back and forth the entire time. What were your feelings throughout the game? Did you think y'all had it in the bag the whole time? Were you stressed at any point?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was stressed the whole time there, because you can't ever count out those. You can't ever count out the Patriots with Brady. I was prepared for them to come back for any point. I mean, that last throw to Grabowski or Gronowski.
Mike Wazowski. It's Mike Wazowski. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. I mean, I fully expected him to catch it. I thought we were gonna lose it on the last play, or we wouldn't have lost it on the last play, but we would have been going to overtime. I was prepared to go to overtime. I thought it was gonna happen.
And still no prayers during the game, huh? Well, hey, Rocco, congratulations on the victory, man.
I just, cheer and talk about the game with my friends, my family. Never been much of a guy that prays during the game.
Gotcha.
Not really.
Gotcha. Yeah, you have to reserve Sundays for God unless football's on. Then you have to cut him out for 4 hours, right? Amen?
Yeah, something like that.
See, I'm just painting you into a corner here. So, let's get into that. Like, who did you watch the game with? Were you around other Phillies fans? Were you around Patriots fans? Like, what did you do for the big game?
So we got together at a buddy of mine's house, and we had some other folks over. There was one of his coworkers is a Patriots fan, and she came over, and she was a good sport, and we didn't razz her too hard. And there was a lot of kids running around with Eagles jerseys on, and singing the fight song. We had great food, plenty of beer. We did say grace and a prayer for the players before we ate. So we did pray for the two teams, and that everyone there'd be no injuries and nothing like that. So
Did you say grapefruit?
No, great food.
Great food. We both heard grapefruit. And I was about to say, like, you know that's God's least favorite fruit, right? Like in Genesis chapter, in the first couple of chapters, it never says that Eve ate an apple. I'm convinced it was a grapefruit because those things are terrible.
Never thought about that before. I like grapefruit okay.
You like grapefruit okay? Well, you would. So, and you've probably never thought of it before because you're not very smart, Rocco.
Hey, Taylor, come on now, buddy. What have I ever done to you? That's not very Christian.
You lied to me last week, and you lied to me again today. I'm not sure what to believe, but all that I believe is that I'm just kidding. I totally love having you on, Rocco. It is always a blast. I want to thank you for your time again.
Forgive me because I'm making this character up as I go along, so you got to forgive me for those lapses in the storyline.
Well, we'll continue to get Rocco's backstory over the next. Rocco will return. I guess we'll say that. It's like at the end of a Marvel movie. We get through the grand finale, and then you get through the credits, and then it says, Spider-Man will return. Rocco will return to the show. Rocco, I just want to thank you for being such a great part of Forte Catholic for the last couple of weeks, helping us to make Catholicism fun again.
Hey, really appreciate it, buddy. I'll see you soon, and go Eagles. World champions.
Thanks, Rocco. Oh, my God. Sam, you said last week that that the last segment of last week's show was your favorite that we've ever done. Why do you like Rocco so much?
I don't know. He's just so funny, and you just don't expect it. It's just great. It's just great. Greatness.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
He reminds me of the general manager of this radio station.
Yeah, they look very similar.
They do look very, very similar. They might be brothers or something.
Maybe like twins.
Yeah. I think Thaddeus is the favorite son of the Cuccozzilio family. So
that makes sense because when I look, I think Thaddeus is going to talk, but Rocco's here.
Rocco is here. So, yeah, guys, Rocco's so much fun. If you were completely lost, go back and listen to episode 68 of the podcast. It was the last segment. Speaking of segments, this is the end of this one. And Sam, that one I think is probably up there in one of your favorite segments as well. This next one might be too. We're bringing back Matt Martinusen. We're going to be playing the Catholic card game. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back. Hey, you there listening with your ears. If you've enjoyed the show so far and you enjoy the show in general, I would love if you'd show some support for the show by visiting patreon.com/Forte Catholic. We've got some amazing rewards for you guys, but it's also where you can show some love with your money bags. It'll help us grow what we can do here at the show, allow me to spend some more time on it, and also, feed my children. So thanks for listening. We'll be right back with the rest of the show. Welcome back to segment 2 of Forte Catholic Radio. I'm your host, Taylor Schroll, and here in our second segment, we always bring in a guest right in the middle of the show because you're probably getting tired of me at this point. So it's not very often that I have guests come back onto the show, right? The show's still kind of young, so I'm reaching out, getting some new people, but there's been a couple of people come back. Some like the likes of Trent Horn and that sort of thing, right? We've got a return guest today. He's one of the most creative people we've ever had on the show. Matt Martinusen came on a few months ago, something like that, to talk about the Catholic comic book that he made, and it was all on Kickstarter, and he sent me one of the books. It's my favorite book that I read in 2017. That should tell you a little something about me. But he's got this new game that's coming out. I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'm going to let him explain it. But first, before we do that, Matt, how are you this evening, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, it's great. I want to like challenge myself. I bring people on with challenging last names to challenge how good of a host I am. So you'll notice I haven't said it yet.
You actually did say my last name, and you got it right.
Did I?
I was actually,
Oh.
yeah, I was kind of taken aback. You did good. Either you have great pronunciation skills, or you have a great memory. So either way, you are in the win.
Or I said it and I didn't remember. So I don't know if you complimented me, but I'm also an idiot. So take it how it is. So I thought the Catholic comic book was genius. It was hilarious, and you brought it all together. You've got something new for us. Why don't you just introduce it for us tonight?
Sure. It's called The Catholic Card Game. And as you can tell, I have a really clever way of titling things. I say what it is, and I put Catholic in front of it, because that's what it is. Essentially, it is a prompt and answer game similar to Apples to Apples or Cards Against Humanity, of whatever side of the spectrum you are on of card games that you play. And it's completely for Catholics, developed by my wife and I. It's got stuff, all the cards are stemming somewhere from the Catholic faith, not necessarily just scripture, but, inside jokes, popular Catholics, things that we all do that everybody knows we do, we tried to make this as diverse and as expansive as possible, and we're really proud of it. It's really fun. We've played it with some friends. It works, which was also a great thing. We're like, hey, this game, it works, and it's pretty funny. So we're proud of it. We're excited about it. We're super close to our goal. We need 22,000, and we're over 20. So it's going to happen. We've got 9 days, and this game's going to happen, and I'm super excited to share it with everybody.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. When you reached out to me like 3 weeks ago, I think, and you were like, "Hey, can we get on to talk about this game?" I said, absolutely, just because of how much I loved the work that you had done on the Catholic comic book. And at that point, I don't remember the number, but it was nowhere close to the goal. And I was like, oh man, it's 3 weeks away. I think this is a great idea, but there's just not much backing behind it. And then I went to support it myself today. I was like, what? We're almost there, right? So my hope is that people listening to the show this week, whether on the radio or on the podcast, that the listeners of Forte Catholic can help you get there, to get to that goal, because I'm super excited about this game. I'm a big fan of both Apples to Apples and Cards Against Humanity. Yes, I've gone to confession since I played. Okay. So I love this game, and which is interesting because I'm crazy competitive and I always want to win. And games like this, you have no idea what's about to happen, right? There's almost no strategy to it, and I think it's why it's hilarious, because it really comes down to people making these choices. So, I don't know how you think of this stuff. Some people can look at this now that it's out and be like, "Oh, this is a simple idea," yet no one else had thought of it. So, how are you playing a game and all of a sudden you're just like, "I'm going to make a Catholic one of these"?
I don't know, divine intervention, maybe. So the way it happened was I saw an ad for an IT version for tech people, which I'm not. And I was like, well, if tech people can have their own version, I bet Catholics could too. So I kind of started jotting down some ideas, and then my wife sat down and we were talking about it. And before we knew it, we had 100 different ideas for cards, and we were thinking, "Whoa, this might actually work." So it's just kind of I saw a different version, and there's other ones on Kickstarter that have other versions. And this type of game. People have commented on stuff like, "You got this from Cards Against Humanity." It's like, well, yeah, we all know it. But there are tons of different variations, and for all different types of people. And I thought, you know what? I think it would be great if we had something for Catholics. And something my wife was really wanting for this was, it's so easy to just have a fun conversation about Catholicism, about the Bible or Jesus, while having a board game night. This game makes it happen in as deep a level or as a comedic level as you want it. It's diverse in its cards, and so it's. I wanted to make something for us, completely for us, and this is it.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I saw some stuff on like that on the internet too. I'm like, why are you people complaining about this? Like, I think you're just mad that you didn't think of it, Because like if you look at any board game, how many different versions of Monopoly have you seen? Off the top of my head, I can think of 28. Like there are so many different versions, and people like buying those different versions. Cell phones. You take an idea and then you reiterate it and you try to meet your audience. And that's exactly what I think you're doing. And me personally, the reason that I like it is I'm getting kind of tired of apples to apples. And the only other option for me was Cards Against Humanity. And like I said earlier, I need to go to confession after every time I play that game. I won't have to after this game. It might inspire me to go, but I won't have to after this game. So I think it's a wonderful alternative. So here's what we're going to do. I think you're in Minnesota. Where are you at?
That's right.
Yeah, you're in Minnesota.
Cold Minnesota.
You poor man. I feel so bad for you. So you are in Minnesota. I'm here in our Red Sea Radio studios in College Station, Texas, joined by my producer Sam and our number one fan Macca. So you sent us some of these cards. We're actually just going to play this game. So for people who are hearing about this and haven't quite gotten it yet, first of all, go to Kickstarter.com. We've got to help this project come to fruition. Kickstarter.com. If you type in the word Catholic in the search bar, the number one thing is the Catholic card game. The number 4 thing is the Ultimate Catholic comic book. So you've struck a chord. So 91% of the way to go, with 9 days to go. So head on over to Kickstarter. We're going to prove to you how fun this game is. So, Matt, you sent me these cards. We all have them. I have yellow cards, which are like the prompt cards, and I'll be reading those out. Me, the 2 people here in the studio, and you over in Minnesota are all going to be putting in the card that we think will best answer the prompt. Sam's cheating. Stop reading them all. Okay, so here's what you need to tell us.
You got to prepare. She's doing great.
Oh,
she's just over there giggling. So how many of the cards do we need to get a piece of the answer cards?
We do 7 for creation.
7 for
that's
creation.
What I'm saying. This is a Catholic game, people.
Okay, cool. So we have like 10. So just get 7 of them, Sam. Sam's already trying to cheat. Okay. So we're all going to read, instead of, obviously you can't see them because this is radio. Welcome to your car. So I'll read the prompt. I'll give everybody a couple of seconds to think of to find their best answer out of their 7. And then I'll give everybody a chance to read off their answer. So here we go.
Okay.
The first prompt. Youth ministers love talking about blank. Youth ministers love talking about blank.
Oh, I hope that's the right choice.
This one's mine. So let's go with Sam. Sam, what's your answer?
Living at my parents' house until marriage.
Macca?
Being holier than thou.
Oh, that's a good one.
Matt?
I'm going to go with Adam and Eve's wardrobe.
That was a good one.
I'm going to go with Sam's.
Yes.
Sam gets a point. So
maybe I will actually win on a Forte Catholic game.
Maybe you will.
Probably not. I never win.
Maybe not.
No, I'm really bad at this game. You might win.
Sam's got 1. We all have 0. All right, Matt, this is going to be your prompt. You're going to be picking from I will be canonized for. I will be canonized for.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
I will be made a saint. Canonized for. Mine is flipping tables.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, mine is trying to stay in the state of grace in the parking lot.
Mine is sweaty hands at the sign of peace.
Gross.
I would have put in being in 6 weddings in 1 year.
Oh,
Dang it, that was... I had that one.
So which one are you picking, Matt?
I will do flipping tables.
Flipping tables,
dang it.
yes.
that was a good one.
That's good. He picked the man who has the power to mute him at any moment. Okay.
I want to come back on your show.
Yeah, exactly. for the Catholic
something. Who knows?
Umbrella. All right, Sam, this one's yours
Okay.
because I want to win. Jesus specialized in blank before his public ministry. Jesus specialized in blank before his public ministry. Oh man, this is tough.
It's okay. None of mine are good.
Go. Jesus specialized in. Sam, you got one?
Am I supposed to? I'm supposed to put one.
Oh,
in too?
no, you're not supposed to get. Matt, what's yours?
Being in the state of grace.
Being in the state of grace.
That's true.
I mean, accurate. Am I right?
I mean,
Right.
that. Yeah, it's just true.
All right, Macca.
Okay, offering it up.
Mine is knowing the sign language of Jesus loves me.
Okay, that one's really funny, but I feel like you have to go with the truth.
The truth.
Matt
All
has
right,
my
Matt,
vote.
Matt gets one.
Yes.
All right,
So
so
win my own game.
we're all winning except Macca. Macca's the only one
I'm
without a
so
point.
bad at these games.
And guess what, Macca? You're not going to win this one because this one's yours. Jesus would never be caught blank. Jesus would never be caught blank. All right, mine is not focusing during a rosary.
That's a good one.
Ooh.
Sam?
Mine is still saying and also with you.
I like that one.
Macca?
And
Matt.
mine is crushing on the youth minister.
He would never be caught doing that. So, Macca, which one do you think it is?
I like Sam's the best.
Yes.
Sam's was completely the worst.
Hey, calm down over there.
Okay, who are we at? We're at me now, right?
Mhm.
We're at me again. Blank, the number one reason for staying chaste. Blank, the number one reason for staying chaste.
That would have been the good parents one. Okay.
Macca?
Being in 6 weddings in 1 year.
Matt?
A Christian fish tattoo.
Sam?
Blaring trumpets. I don't know.
Okay, Matt wins that one.
That was good.
Matt's got 2. Sam can't get this point because Sam's is
Oh, it's my turn.
Saints pray for people who struggle with blank. Saints pray for people who struggle with blank. Mine's, I don't know if mine's kind of deep. Mine's the Protestant Reformation.
Oh.
It's funny because Protestants don't like saints. Macca?
Ending emails with a Latin sign off.
Oh.
Matt?
Trying to explain the Trinity.
Oh. I choose Macca's.
Macca's?
Yeah, I get a point.
Okay, you only did that because you're friends with her. Hers wasn't the funniest. Okay.
I just want Macca to have a point.
No, she wins everything on this show. That's going to be the reason she wins. She's actually going to play well. All right, we got a couple more. Matt, this one's you. Doubting Thomas wished he was known for blank. Doubting Thomas wished he was known for blank. Mine's actually true. I'm going to say going on a mission trip. Because Doubting Thomas doubted one time, got known as Doubting Thomas, who's actually the apostle that traveled the furthest to bring the good news to people. So Doubting Thomas was best. Macca, what's yours? Doubting Thomas wished he was known for
Cutting off the guard's ear.
Ooh.
Saying hi to Jesus for a friend.
I'm going to have to go with cutting off the guard's ear.
cutting off. I told you, Mac is going to win this stupid game all because of Sam. Why are you ruining a good thing? All right, Macca can't get this one because it's Macca's turn. When Jesus comes again, what will he talk about first? When Jesus comes again, what will he talk about first? Mine is minivan envy. Sam?
The King James Bible.
Get that crap out of here.
And mine is Thomas Aquinas' haircut.
I like that one.
That one?
Yeah, Max.
Okay. Matt has 3 points. Sam and Macca have 2, and I have 1. And we have 1 more left.
Uh-oh.
And I'm guessing, so I can't win. So it's all up to you guys. See if you can catch Matt. Every Catholic girl's dream. Every Catholic girl's dream.
I don't have a good one. I don't have a good one.
All right, Matt.
I'm gonna have to say floating during prayer.
Okay.
Oh,
That's a good one.
being first in line to board Noah's Ark. That's the best I had.
Okay,
Yeah,
Macca.
I only have 3 cards left, and they're all bad.
I should have 30 more cards. I'm sorry.
No,
That's
it's great.
okay. I'm just gonna put fearing the Jews.
Oh my gosh.
I chose that for her, though.
Oh my gosh.
Sam chose it for me.
Matt wins. Matt, you've won at your own game. You have crushed me. Hey guys, go check this game out. It is so much fun. We had a few of the cards. It's going to have dozens and dozens more. Head on over to Kickstarter.com and search Catholic, and you'll see the card game. Go support it. Let's get them to fully funded. Matt, thanks again for coming on this evening. We had a blast.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
God bless, man. Guys, we will be right back for our final segment of the day. But before we do that, head on over to Kickstarter.com right now. Let's get this game out into the public. Hey, you've made it this far. Congratulations. That means there's at least part of you that likes what I have to say. If you want to hear some more things that I have to say that aren't necessarily on the radio, you can follow me on social media. Facebook, it's Taylor Schroll, the Forte Catholics, the page there. Twitter, at Taylor Schroll. Instagram, same thing. I'm on Snapchat as well. Don't look up my MySpace because I don't have my password. Can't find it. And the picture on there is still stuck of me on a beach like my freshman year of college without a shirt on. So don't go there. Anywhere else. Let's connect. I'd love to get to know you guys. We'll be right back with the last segment. All right, we are back for our final segment of Forte Catholic for the day. In our first segment, if you missed it, you got to go back and listen on the podcast. If you're driving in your car now and just tuning in, Rocco Cuccozzilio, a Phillies fan. Not Phillies, Philadelphia Eagles. Phillies is baseball. Welcome to baseball season, everybody. Football's over. Big Philadelphia Eagles fan. We had him on the show last week to talk about the Super Bowl. He came in, and Rocco's a character, right? In both senses of that term. So we're still trying to figure out his backstory. Rocco is still trying to figure out his backstory. So we're not sure how good of a Catholic he is, but we do know that for once, I'm a better Catholic than this person, right? So he goes to Mass a couple times a year, but we started talking about Lent. And he, this is our last show before Lent starts. So Rocco started thinking about his Lent, even though he only goes to church 4 days a year, maybe 2. We're not sure. He lies to me constantly. So, but I thought it was kind of ironic because he knows what he's doing for Lent, and I don't have any idea. Producer Sam doesn't have any idea. Little Macca, who also hangs out in the studio, has no idea. So, Sam, I have a question for you. Here's what I'm thinking. For my Lent, most people know, I think I even talked about on the show, that I didn't do New Year's resolutions because why set myself up to fail, right?
Okay.
No, I'm just like everyone else in that I don't do well with changing myself for the better. So it's just like people try to do at the beginning of the new year. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the gym every day.
Right.
I think I've told you about my workout plan this year, right? So every year on January 1, I start with this app called Couch to 5K. It's supposed to, over the course of, I think, like 8 weeks or something, you run 3 times, And it slowly, it lets, like at the beginning, you walk and then you run, then you walk and then you run. And over the course of the however many weeks, I don't know because I've never gotten there. Like that's kind of the point, right? So I think it's like 8 weeks or something. You're supposed to be able to go from like, fat and out of shape like me to fat and out of shape but able to run a 5K, right? So
Ayo.
it is what? Today as we record this, it's February 6th.
Yes.
On Saturday, which was February, this is so hard, February 3rd or something? Yeah, I think it was February. I don't know. This 3 days ago.
The third.
Can I? Yeah, 6 minus 3. Good.
Yeah.
We figured it out. We did it
Ayo.
together. So
2 for 2.
February 3rd, I did day 2 of Couch to 5K.
And you started on the 1st?
Well, to be fair, I started on the 1st by downloading the app.
Okay.
I did my first run like the 3rd week of January.
Okay.
Okay, so
it's like a process.
My excuse was that it's just very cold and I don't like it.
Right.
Okay.
Cold, rainy.
It's very gross.
I'd rather eat.
Exactly.
There's just so many things.
Exactly. So I started doing that, and then I was like, well, that's not going to work, right? So then I decided like 2 weeks ago. So end of January, I actually decided what my New Year's resolution is going to be. A lot of people know that I love Kendrick Lamar. I grew up listening to rap. I don't like modern rap anymore because they all suck. So, but Kendrick is actually pretty good, right? And it's interesting. He's a Christian guy. If you're offended by profanity, don't listen to him because he cusses. He's a Christian man he came from the street trying to figure out his life, right? Like I love his honesty. But if you don't like cussing, don't go elsewhere. Listen to chant or something. So, in a lot of his songs, he always said, I'm praying for people, but ain't nobody praying for me. Like that's kind of one of his things that kind of goes throughout this whole album. And over and over, I was driving. I don't know why I'm doing hand motion. This is the radio. Driving to Fulshire a couple of weeks ago, and I was listening to the album, and I was hearing him say over and over, ain't nobody praying for me. So my New Year's resolution that started on like January 26th or something was that for the rest of the year, anytime Kendrick Lamar says, ain't nobody praying for me, I'm going to pray for him. Right then. Right?
Nice.
So now, it's kind of odd because I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart, but kind of by doing it, I'm making him a liar. It's very, very weird. But here's my question for you. Since I just started this 2 or 3 weeks ago, can that also be my Lenten thing, or do I have to have something new?
I think it depends on the person who you talk to.
I'm not asking them. I'm asking you.
I know, but like if I think about it, I know people have different opinions. Like, oh, I'm going to do something extra instead of giving up something. Like some people are totally against that. Like you have to give up something.
Right. Those are the people that listen
and
to chant.
So there's just like all these different opinions. I think you could still do that. Like that could be your like prayer part of your Lent. Macca.
Oh,
she's gonna have a different opinion. You can already tell.
Yeah.
Look at her.
Talking to your microphone, Macca.
Okay. So, personally, since I think that you already kind of like started as your resolution, like resolutions,
all
and
right,
what you do for Lent's different.
Mute her. We're done with her.
Oh, I'm sorry. You've been muted.
I think she's right, though. I think I have to do something else. But
can you like add on? Can you like, do some other things? You're unmuted.
What if you prayed for someone else that was famous?
What'd you do for Lent? I prayed for 2 famous people. Like I just saying that out loud, I feel like it's not good enough. And just like my New Year's resolution, I started 3 weeks late. Like, what is it? Laetare Sunday, the pink one.
Yes.
What if I just start then?
Start there.
So here's what I'm actually. So I was thinking about this.
Okay.
And I actually figured out my answer. I thought about it. I was like, you know what? That's not good enough, Taylor. Like you need to be better. Okay.
So you have some other ideas?
I do, and it's another one of those things that I'm actually pretty upset. Anyway, okay. So at the beginning of the year, I also wanted to start like actually reading I talk about the Bible app all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said a couple of weeks ago that I was like rededicating myself to it, right? And I invited people who listen to the show to join me as a friend on the Bible app. You can like do Bible plans together. I got a couple new like Bible friends out of that. It was pretty cool.
That's cool.
So around the beginning of the year, I started like dedicating myself to it again. And what's cool is like the Bible app started doing streaks, like kind of like Snapchat does, like but instead of like sending a Snapchat every day or whatever, it's how many days did you actually engage with the scriptures in the Bible app. I was so upset because I was doing so well.
Aww.
I got like most of the time, like I was in a pretty rough stretch. I won't say how long my streaks were. Let's just say they stayed in the single digits for quite some time.
Ayo.
So at the beginning of the, it was until Saturday, which, there's what, 31 days in January? Yeah. I had like a 26-day streak going where like I actually did like my time in the scriptures. I was very proud of myself.
Wow.
Saturday, I woke up in the morning, I prayed, went to drove to DCYC, spent the whole day praying, talking to people about God, sharing this message, like engaging with the community, right? Drive home, praying while I'm driving home, get home, go straight to Spling Bling, which is like the St. Joe's fundraiser.
Right, yeah.
I get home, I'm exhausted, and I go to sleep. I didn't open my Bible app.
No.
My entire day from when I woke up to when I went to sleep was surrounded by the Christian community. I prayed throughout the day. I just didn't have time to get on my phone.
Right.
So I broke my streak, and I'm so upset.
You can't like go in and fix that. Like
No, it's not like Time Hop. They don't give you a
just add it at the end. It's fine.
I'm sure they're like, you can't lie to God. Like, yeah, he does know. Yeah, believe me, he knows. So here's my thing.
Okay.
I want to get through all of Lent with a streak. It would be the longest. They just started streaks like 3 months ago. So almost literally, I couldn't have gone that far, right?
Right.
I'm going to get the streak. I mean, I should, like, I want to start now, but at least like Ash Wednesday until Easter, I want to be in my Bible all the time. And it gets difficult, right? Because like on Sundays, like I go to mass and I'm like surrounded by, I'm praying for an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of times when my streak gets broken. It's kind of ironic, right? Mm-hmm. It gets broken on Sunday, the Lord's Day, but it's because I'm praying, I'm leading worship, I'm speaking at youth nights, all this kind of stuff, right? Like the day's kind of about God. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I don't care anymore. I just want to get my streak from now until Easter.
Okay.
So you people, you two, needs to hold me accountable to it. People listening to the show need to hold me accountable to it. If you want to join me, please do.
That would be fun.
Because I need some accountability. But I really do. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. They have this new ability to do plans together. It's a lot of fun. They have some Lenten plans that I'm going to be starting. So if you want to do it with me, let's do it. Speaking of this Bible app, I don't think I've talked about this publicly yet. I told a couple of our coworkers when we were driving to Topgolf. So like I was talking about at the beginning of the year that I started this Couch to 5K app, right? I was like, you know what? I need to lose some weight. I need to get into shape. So I started, doing Couch to 5K, as in I've ran twice. And then I started making better choices when I'm eating. I'm not eating late at night. Instead of 8 brownies, I'm having 3. I'm improving, right? So I was looking through Bible plans on the Bible app, trying to find a regular plan. I wasn't even thinking about a weight loss one. And then this one for 21 days of encouragement for weight loss popped up. Or it's 21 days, something like that, right? And I'm like, you know what? I should do this. It's like encouragement, daily Bible verses about, stuff like your body's temple of the Holy Spirit, encouragement, you began the race, let's finish it. Like that sort of idea, right? So I'm reading this day one, and I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. I'm really feeling encouraged by this. It's asking me what are your goals? Thinking about if you lose a pound a week, they're like, what's your goal? You have to write your goal down, all this SMART goal type stuff, right? So I write down my goal. I put it in my Fitbit app. And it's like, if you lose a pound a week, how many weeks would it take to do it, right? I want to lose 10 pounds. So it would take 10 weeks, right? So I'm writing down my goal. I'm getting all these, failing to plan is planning to fail. These great things from Benjamin Franklin, right? So then I get down to the bottom of this first day. I was right. 21-day weight loss God's way. 21-day weight loss God's way. This challenge. So all encouraged by this. The last paragraph in this Bible study says, join me, Kathy Morenzi, and hundreds of like-minded, health-conscious Christian women as we go through these principles together in our private Facebook group. And I go, what? There's nothing in the plan that says it's for women. There's nothing that indicates that other than there's a picture of this lady, Kathy Morenzi, on the cover, but it doesn't say weight loss for women. So I'm like, I have this moment of, do I stop this or do I keep going? And I said, first of all, I really enjoyed this first day of the Bible study. Second of all, this is hilarious. So here I am. I'm on day 5 of the healthy. And here's all it says: Healthy by Design, Weight Loss God's Way, Christian Weight Loss Plan, and Bible Study. Kathy Morenzi. Says nothing about women, but that's what it's called. So I'm going to continue doing that throughout Lent. I'm going to be walking with these my fellow women in Christ.
I was like, I think maybe you need to come out with an alter ego now. Maybe Tanya. I don't know, something
Hey.
great.
I think I'd get in trouble if I kept that going on. So her name could be Taylor.
That is true.
So I wanted to share a couple of things from this Bible study that I've been reading. Right. So here's just the things that I wanted to share from my women's weight loss Bible study. The girls' mics are muted, but they're laughing like crazy. It's throwing me off. So here's a quote from Edward Stanley. It says, if you keep quiet... no, that's not it, Taylor. Okay. Those who think that they have no time for bodily exercise will sooner or later have to find time for illness. And you know how I know that's true? I haven't made time for exercise, and guess who's been sicker more often than he used to be? Donald Trump. I'm just kidding. It's me. It's me, guys. It's me. I know he just got his physical, but I'm talking about me. And here's one thing that I thought was really interesting. For we're talking about growth in the spiritual life. What are we going to do for Lent? How are we going to grow in our faith life this Lent? The one today says that God says in Exodus 23:30, I will drive them out little by little until you have increased enough to take possession of the land. So he's talking about them going into expanding going into the promised land, expanding their where the Israelites live. And he says, I'm going to drive them out little by little. It's one of the odd things in the story of salvation. It's God wanted them to go to the promised land. Most of us know about the 40 years wandering in the desert, right? It takes them a long time because they were making golden calves and all these kinds of things, right? But then we think, oh yeah, then they got to the promised land. It's well, they did, but other people lived there. There were dozens of other tribes of people, other kingdoms that were living in the Holy Land, that were living in the promised land. But God, what the question, why didn't God just clear out the land so that they could live there? And it was this slow process over time. It says, I will drive them out little by little until you have increased enough to take possession of the land. So the question in this Bible study was why would an all-powerful God take his time to act? And the answer that they gave in my favorite women's Bible study, God understands that to be victorious, certain skills must be developed, such as persistence, patience, strategy, and submission. So for us to grow, in the same way that I'm not going to go from me currently to running a 5K tomorrow, it's going to take the process over the next 8 weeks to 18 years for me to be able to run a 5K, right? It's going to take work from me to do that. And over the course of that time, I'm going to be building up my persistence, my patience, and just my submission of saying no to the things I want, eating whatever I want, and sitting on the couch all the time. So this Lent, how can God help drive out the little imperfections in you little by little. Hey, that's all the time we have for this week. We didn't have enough time to get to Father Jared Cook this week. Maybe next week. We'll be back then. See ya! Hey, it's Taylor. Thanks so much for listening today. Whether you're listening on the podcast or the radio, 2 things you can do to help me out. 1, tell your friends about this podcast if you like it. It's the best way for people to find out about it. 2, if you are listening on the podcast, go give it a rating, please. It would really help me out. Thanks, and I'll be back next week.